Hey, look, my lawyer, she sent me a broken link to a video call, right? To the conference call for the court thing, right? And the whole time in court, they kept calling my little sister Miss Cross, Miss Cross. And dude, I just figured them out that they all knew what was going on. My little sister didn't sound like my little sister at all. I was like, that's not my little sister. I was like, why does she sound like that? I was like, why does she sound like me? And literally, like, they were addressing her the way that they would address me, calling her Miss Cross. Well, if she's married to some dude named whatever Williams, then wouldn't she have gone by Mrs. Williams the entire time? And they even said, like, your name is, they were like, your name is, your husband's, they asked what her husband's name was. She was like, yeah, that's my husband's name. And she was like, all right. And they kept calling her Miss Cross. And my lawyer had sent me a link, right? And it's, they've done this before where they send me broken links. I tried to follow the link a week ago whenever I was getting ready for this hearing. Oh my gosh, you guys. And I couldn't follow the link back. I downloaded Zoom. I set it all up. I set a picture on it. I set my name up on there and everything. And they made it to where I could only call in. So everybody else called in and everybody else could see who was pretending to be my sister, or if it even was my sister Cassidy. Like, that didn't sound like my sister Cassidy. Like, she had a voice that was closer to my voice, and they were calling her by the same name that everybody calls me, Miss Cross. So it was really confusing. They had a judge whose name was LaDonna, and it was the first time that I'd heard a judge with a judge that had my name. It's the only time that judge has ever been present. She was like, I don't know, I'm this, different judge, and I'm coming in to oversee this or whatever. And she immediately began by telling me that, that my kid had been placed with the same sex traffickers that CYFD has watched me write about online for the last 2 years, and that I've mentioned that to them every single time that they brought that family up, and they just would all fall silent and sit back and wait for my sister, who's the same one who ended up with my kid, and my whole family to continue to follow me around and stalk me. I've literally seen my own stepmother following me in fucking New Mexico while I had my little kid. Like, they fucking chased me across the fucking nation to try to get my kid. You wouldn't believe the shit that they've done over the course of my kid's whole lifetime to get him. But anyways, during this hearing, this is what's important, is that didn't sound like my sister Cassidy. That sounded like me. And to also confuse the situation more, when I asked the judge what her name was, she said LaDonna, and she acted like she was addressing me rather than telling me what her name was. And by doing so, she made me think that she wasn't actually that they were still gonna continue not to provide the names of the judges, all that stuff. Like, I asked my attorney a couple weeks ago, or months ago, it's been 3 or 4 months ago, I asked her for the judge's name that had been over my case up until then, and she refused to respond to me and refused to give me the name of the judge. And the reason why I don't have the judge's name is because they have me robbed so often that all of the emails with their names on them, that's all gone. I don't have access to any of those because they get into my accounts and they change the passwords to their own passwords, because they have me all deemed incompetent to where they have complete, I guess, control and ownership and access over me. So they got me deemed incompetent only so that they can hack and monitor my stuff and have me trafficked around, like have me moved around, and watch everything that I do, watch my every move, just so that they can be ready in advance. And I said over and over again before all this that I was going to ask for the name of this judge. I even wrote it on my Facebook. I was like, I'm getting all their names this time and letting everybody know who they are. So they made sure to give me a judge that had my first name, and she made it to where all she had to do was say LaDonna and pause like that, and that I would think that she was just saying my name and refusing to give me her name. How fucking retarded and fucked up is that? Like, they got all kinds of little fucking tricks and shit like that. The FBI did their little tricks like that whenever I called too. Like, whenever I was talking to this one lady and I was like telling her what happened, and instead of being like, well, your complaint isn't valid, she's like, oh my God, I'm transferring you to Homeland Security and all this shit. She just patched me through to somebody else or whatever. Like, just stupid fucking shit. Or like FBI agents, dudes being all like, these dudes got real snotty with me. They're like, ma'am, all talking down to me and all fucking being retarded and shit. I hope those dudes get fucking fired for that shit. There ain't no fucking sense in treating people like that. I don't give a fuck. If there's a mom on the phone telling you that her kid's getting fucking sex trafficked and shit, you don't need to fucking talk to her like that. Talk to her like she's a fucking retard and shit like that. Obviously, if I'm tripping out about it, it's because no one has fucking been listening to me for a really long time. So here, I'm giving you your chance. God just gave you your chance and you fucked it up. One of them was so fucking incredibly rude that I actually started fucking going off on him. I've never even fucking gone through that before. And I've also never fucking tripped out in the beginning of a fucking court hearing. But she literally fucking opened it by telling me that my kid was sent to fucking sex traffickers, which is the first time that anyone has acknowledged to me yet that he was sent there. And then as soon as I asked them for their names, then they wanted to fucking play games and shit. And they had that fucking all set up. They thought that was real fucking funny, I'm sure. So she uses what she called an outburst, a schizophrenic outburst, as an excuse to mute me, making it to where they could talk about whatever they wanted, what all the sick stuff that they've done as sex traffickers and people who are part of the sex trafficking system. They went on and on, what my point is that my lawyer deliberately sent me a link that was broken so that I wouldn't be able to see them by video and they wouldn't be able to see me. And I am not sure if who they're calling my sister Cassidy is actually my sister Cassidy anymore. Like, I don't know if that's her or if they switched somebody out just for the court hearing, just the same way as they switched out my lawyer and the judge for this specific court hearing. Anyways, it's all really bad. That's really, really bad. And, also, to come to think of it, like, my sister Cassidy, she just had that one Facebook account, and then, like, she stopped using it, and I've never seen her use or be online. I haven't seen her face or spoken to her on the phone or anything for over 13 years. So I came to think, I was like, thinking about it, I was like, is she dead? Like, did they do something to her? Did she get switched out, or did they just switch her out at the last minute? Was it just somebody else filling in for her because she wasn't sure she was going to be able to pull it off, or was that really her? And if that really was her, then why is she answering to Ms. Cross when she claims that she has been married to somebody whose last name is Williams? Why are you not referring to her as Mrs. Williams? Or even calling her by her first name, Cassidy, as there was no one else in the room, Cassidy. Yeah. And honestly, it's really obvious that it's all corruption. It's really obvious that it's all very real sex trafficking, child sex trafficking, corruption, all that other shit. I feel it in my soul that my kid needs help. Literally, I woke up the other day and I had to call CPS and fucking tell them. You know what I mean? And I was so worried about it. And apparently, you know what, about the same time frame that I woke up feeling like my kid was in trouble and then I needed to call CPS. And still yet, they actually they continued to lead me to believe that my son was in New Mexico while he was actually in another state already. While he was already in fucking Texas. It's super fucked up. They've even had a so they're trying to act like, because I'm not allowed visits, but they haven't really taken my rights, so they just have me in this limbo where they're gonna try to get me to follow some kind of like mental health thing or whatever. And it's like, wow. So, and they didn't even let me speak up and be like, I don't have schizophrenia. So, you know, I don't know what they're planning on doing. I know that because they're going to say, oh, and they tried to say that I've had frequent outbursts, and that I'm difficult to get a hold of. Well, the only time that I would have been difficult to get a hold of is while you guys are holding me hostage while you're having me trafficked. And like that one time, especially during December, when they had these women holding me hostage, kind of like, and drugging me and stuff like that. Like, I didn't know how I was going to escape. I thought I was going to have to jump a train for the first time, and I've never been a fucking train rider. That's like a whole different level of homeless person that I never made it to yet. Like, legit, like, I thought feds or somebody would switch up and like fucking at least come rescue me. Like, under the circumstances, even if you are part of a corrupt group of people, this particular situation is so fucking fucked up and serious that like, it's, people just gotta, I mean, somebody's really got to step in and do something. It's not okay for any mother or father to have to suffer day in and day out thinking that their child is being sexually abused and exploited online, or that they could be poisoned and killed for life insurance. This is some really serious shit. My kid doesn't need to be in that house. He needs to be taken care. He needs to be taken completely out of that family altogether. And they also tried to tell me that the FBI went and questioned my kid, and that they basically sent message that they were getting on to me for making those false allegations, that they had to come in and talk to him about sex for the first time in his whole life, is what they said. I've just never known a more nasty group of people, really, than the ones who work together in these family court situations and that worked with my family. It's weird family corruption type stuff. They continued to mute me. They never did. They never did take the mute off for the entire time while they talked about me. I recorded every word of it. I'm not playing the games, and that is mine. That's my personal recording. It belongs to me. I think that it is probably the best thing that I could have done under the circumstances, is to get a really good recording of just how corrupt and nasty this situation is. Like, in the beginning, maybe I did like freak out a little bit. Maybe I did panic a little bit. Like, I did kind of freak out. I will admit that. I kind of couldn't see for a second. I forgot that I was even recording. And you know what I mean? At some point early on, like, I forgot that I was even recording because I was just like so terrified. And then at some point I realized that I had been fucking recording it all. I was like, oh my God, I was like, oh my God, is it still recording? Because it's like a new phone. And I didn't know actually how much memory it had. I didn't expect it to have enough to like even, you know what I mean? To potentially even record the entire hearing, but it did. And I honestly, even though that might be illegal, you guys put a fucking camera in my eye. So the privacy violation was already there. That is probably part of the reason why they made sure that the link that they sent me for a video call was broken, and they also didn't get on to me this time for not calling by video, because the last time that I didn't call by video, they shut the whole thing down, and they didn't even have it, and they rescheduled the hearing for months later, and I still had to be. They just figured out where I was so that they could send traffickers to me, and then they scheduled it for later and hoped that I didn't show up to that one. And that's basically what they do. And in this one, my attorney wasn't present, and I said, that's fine. That's fine. I can represent myself. And I told them that I wanted to represent myself, and they still muted me. And then this other guy chimed up and said that he was all of a sudden representing me, and I can't even remember what his name was. I've never heard of him before, but that's what they'll do is they'll all of a sudden, they'll have just like, it'll be just like a hearing that's really important, and it'll suddenly be like a completely new, it'll be a completely new person stepping in for the fucking attorney who, just is avoiding the case, who could just, and I mean, this attorney was a fucking straight evil bitch. I mean, the level of bitch that these motherfuckers have been, you wouldn't fucking believe the malice and the fucking hatred that they've done behind this. And I do believe that after going through this, and I've fucking gone through this for 5 or 6 years now, they're gonna fucking have to start recording the shit that goes on in family court. Because honestly, the feds, whoever ends up fucking listening to this shit, if you guys actually fucking listen to this fucking shit, I promise you that if you know what the fuck is right, you will start making them fucking record their shit. And you will start fucking making sure that their shit gets fucking reviewed. The whole fucking thing needs fucking rewritten from the bottom to the top. It more than reform, it might even just need to be completely taken out of the system, CYFD, because you guys are using it. You guys are using it to sex traffic children and parents. And it's one thing to fucking go through it as a kid. It's a totally different thing to be 40 fucking years old, 39, 40 years old, after, you know what I mean, being a victim and scared to death to talk about it my whole life. And then finally to realize if I don't speak up about it, the same thing's going to happen to my kids. And then for the people who are doing it to know that that's like, that's like the one thing that they could do to try to really destroy me or to try to really fuck things up is to, do exactly that. But also apparently like there was, trust funds or inheritances or money coming in, and, my sister that I don't know about, and my sister apparently by taking control over my little boy, that she thinks she's going to get that money or something like that. Well, it's money that my kids, that they've held out for me and my kids this whole time. Like they literally kept us held hostage like our whole lives, like made sure that we stayed impoverished and like lived below the poverty line, that we were always struggling, that we were always in need. Like it's been bad, dude. Like those pictures that the school sends to the kids and stuff, dude, like I could never afford that. Like they kept me that poor, dude, like really, really poor. And just to try to make things okay for the kids, like I would just try to take them to rivers and play outside and do free things like that. But it didn't really make it that much better. Like they could tell that it was poverty and that it was a way fucking harder poverty than everybody else was living. And honestly, to be honest with you, it was a way harder poverty than I was brought up in. Like the way that they kept us there and the way that I was just supposed to stay there like that and never work, and we weren't allowed to do anything. Like whenever I was a kid in Amarillo, we at least did things like we would go to Wonderland, or we would just do things and like, go out to eat or something. Even though my parents were bad, like they still had a little bit of money to where we could do a little bit of something and run around a little bit, and like had a car, and there was other family members to go to. Like I didn't just have to stay with them. I could sometimes go to like my uncle and aunt or my grandpa or whatever. But like in my kids' situation, they didn't have anyone to go to. There was no way to switch it up, and there was no relief from money. There wasn't, we didn't, it was just like food stamps. Like a big deal for us would be just like going and buying food at Walmart. And it could only ever be really Walmart, because to buy anywhere else was always just too expensive whenever I had kids. But yeah, dude, the person who acted like they were my sister today, I don't think that might not have really been my sister Cassidy. Like I ain't trying to sound crazy, but if she wasn't my sister if that is my sister Cassidy, then she's just done a really, really good job of trying to make her voice sound deeper. Because my sister Cassidy didn't sound like that. Like she has this really like, okay, like chipper voice. Like she sounds more like feminine. She sounds more like my stepmom, and maybe she had a throat surgery, or she could have had some surgeries that might have made her sound different, but I'm not sure that was really my sister Cassidy. I'm just going to be real with you. And I think that they know that that's really not my sister Cassidy, and that they've just gone this whole time. They didn't really want me to find out. I'm just being real. Like, I would have to actually see that woman. I'm going to have to actually go there and actually like tell the police about it and ask them to like go with me to see if that really is my sister or something. Or like, hopefully people will just see this video. You guys, I hope that you guys already know what's happening. And I wish that you guys already would have rushed in and pulled the kid out of the situation, because this is some fucking weird shit.